water, evaporation, condensation. You would also have learned about magnets. Have you learned about magnets?
Yes, sir.
You have, no? Good. So these things we are going to basically relearn and revisit some of the interesting concepts. All right. Also, in this bridge course, if you have any questions, any doubts from your previous classes that you felt that I found it difficult to understand, and you still find it difficult, like you find something confusing to understand, you can get it cleared in this class. All right, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as you gave a test, there I asked you a few questions from that. Like, question was related to the boiling point of water, at what temperature water boils, at what temperature water freezes into ice, right? No?
Yes,
So
sir.
like when we put the if we take a kettle and if we take a kettle and we boil water on it, it does not immediately starts to boil, no? Right? After only few minutes,
Yes,
it starts to boil. So
yes,
you
sir.
have to slowly increase the temperature of the water to a certain point at which it starts to boil. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
So boiling of water. So water boils at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. At how much? 100 degrees Celsius.
Degree, sir.
This is read as 100 degree Celsius, right? So when the temperature of the water reaches 100 degrees Celsius, it starts to boil like this, and at this temperature, they are converting at they're converting very fast into water vapor, right? Now water vapor is
Yes,
the
sir.
gaseous form of water. Remember that
Yes,
it's
sir.
the gaseous form form of water. So that is the thing. Okay, so that's the boiling of water. Okay, another fundamental concept that one should know is about photosynthesis. Can you tell me, like, what do you know about photosynthesis?
So the process by which the plants the sorry, sir,
Mhm.
can you repeat?
What is
The process by
photosynthesis?
which
Mhm.
the plants release oxygen and taken by animals, and the animals release the carbon dioxide taken by plants is called photosynthesis.
Okay, but what about the food that is prepared by the plants? Hmm? In photosynthesis, food is also prepared, as you mentioned that oxygen is given out. But in
Yes,
photosynthesis,
sir.
food is also prepared, right?
Yes, sir.
So let us understand how this process occurs and where does photosynthesis occur. Hmm? So photosynthesis,
Yes, sir.
it occurs in the leaves. So in the leaves of the
Yes,
plant,
sir.
what happens? The plants would be taking some ingredients. They will first need some raw materials, right? So what raw materials will they need? So they will need raw materials like carbon dioxide. Hmm? So plants will take in carbon dioxide from the air. Okay. Then they also need water now. So where do they take
Yes,
water?
sir.
From the soil they take
From the
water.
yes, sir.
From the soil they take in water. Okay. And in order for the photosynthesis to take place, photosynthesis is a biological process now, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. It's a process that will need some energy in order for some process to happen, and some amount of energy is required to it. So energy is taken up from the sunlight. In order to carry out this process, they take in energy from the sunlight. So in the presence of sunlight, this photosynthesis going to happen. Right, from there they take in energy, and as a result of all of this, they produce two products. One is glucose, right? Glucose is basically the food that is prepared by the plant that plants
Yes,
should
sir.
be using up for themselves, and we also take this food from the plant, right? We also take this from the plant. Other than that, they produce one more important thing which is very much essential for life on earth, and that is, without a doubt,
Oxygen.
oxygen.
Sir, Sir, I have a doubt, sir. Glucose means sugar, right?
Yeah, glucose is a form of sugar. Okay, it's a type of sugar basically. Okay, so how can we define photosynthesis? We can say it's a biological process in which plants take raw materials like carbon dioxide and water from the air, and in the presence of sunlight, they carry out a process in their leaves, particularly in their leaves where, particularly in their chlorophyll, right? And as a result
Yes,
of
sir.
this, they produce sugar, that is glucose, and give out oxygen, right? No? That is the thing. Okay. Also, this oxygen, we call this as a byproduct. Okay, no?
Byproduct.
Hmm. Like byproduct, like it's something extra that is being given off in the reaction, and we use it for breathing. Right now, we are using this up for breathing. So, photosynthesis. One of the primary condition required for photosynthesis is sunlight. Without sunlight, it cannot happen. And photosynthesis has a great significance as it is the plants the primary producer of food on earth now, right? The plants should be preparing the food, the same food as the plants leaves and the stems of the plants are eaten up by the herbivores and omnivores, right? So they are actually
Yes,
dependent
sir.
on plant, and we humans would be consuming herbivores also, and sometimes we can consume omnivores, right? So we are directly or indirectly dependent on plants also. Like we eat fruits and vegetables also, and humans eat the flesh of other animals also, right?
Yes, sir.
So in a way, we are directly and indirectly dependent upon the plants. Next, you must have learned about magnets, right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Yes,
So
sir.
magnets are the objects. Like how do we define magnet? Give a definition for magnet. Hmm.
Sir.
Yes. Okay. See, magnets are
So
basically. Mhm.
the process by which the magnet attract to a metal is called,
Hmm. See,
sir, the object that sorry, you
uh,
can say.
see, basically objects that attracts magnetic objects. Okay, na? Objects that
Yes, sir.
attracts objects made up of iron, cobalt, and nickel. What did I say? That suppose if I take a magnet, right now, right? So that magnet is going to attract objects that are made up of iron or made up of steel or nickel, right? Like if you take a magnet and
Yes,
you
sir.
bring a coin near to it, the coin gets attracted to that magnet now, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right? So
Yes, sir.
magnets are materials that attracts objects made up of iron, steel, nickel,
Cobalt.
and cobalt. So we call them as magnets. Then magnets are of different types based on the shape. Some of them are of the
Yes, sir.
bar shaped magnets. The one that you see here in the
Sir,
image, they are bar shaped
uh,
magnets. Remember? Then you can have
yes, sir.
ring shaped magnets also. Ring
Sir,
shape.
horseshoe.
How exactly horseshoe also? Right now, horseshoe. You can have cylindrical magnets also. So they come in all different shapes and sizes, and they have different uses also. Right now, like magnets are used in toys. Magnets are used in electronic. Like they're used in large speakers as well. Right.
Yes, sir.
So that is the thing. Okay.
Sir,
Also,
it was, sir, in my old textbook, there is a written a story that in Malaysia they discovered the magnet.
hmm. There was a Shepherd in Magnesia who discovered magnets for the
Yes.
first time. Okay, no? He was a Shepherd from the Greek city called as there was a place called as Magnesia in Greece. He noticed that his
Yes.
iron nails in the tip of his stick were being attracted to a piece of rock in the ground.
Yes.
Later, it was identified as a natural material which has magnetic property in it called as magnetite, right now. And
Yes, sir.
that's how magnets were discovered for the first time. Okay. For the magnets have got poles, no? Poles are the
Yes,
region
sir.
on the magnet where its strength is maximum. Right now, its pulling and attracting force is maximum near its poles. So if opposite poles like north and south are placed near to each other, then they attract. Right now.
Yes, sir.
But suppose if north and north poles and the south
It
and the
will
south
not
poles,
attract.
they will repel
It will
in this
not.
case. They will repel, no, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's the thing. Further, you must have learned about electricity also in the last years of your classes, right? Have you? So in
Yes, sir.
electricity, you must have learned that electricity is generated due to flow of charge particles, right? Energy,
Yes.
because of energy, we are able to light up different appliances in our houses. Getting it? Then
Yes, sir.
electricity can travel through only certain materials, certain objects. Right?
Yes,
By
sir.
the way, tell me who discovered the bulbs, like who invented the bulbs for the first time? Bulb inventor.
Sir,
Hmm. That was
sir, I don't
Thomas
know.
Thomas
Thomas.
Alva Thomas Alva Edison. Okay, now he was the inventor of bulb. Okay, now Thomas Alva Edison. You should know actually this thing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now further, as I was talking about electricity, so electricity is basically it is the flow of charged particles. Okay, now charge particles.
Article.
So the electricity that you see created due to an electric cell, like electricity can be created due to an electric cell also, no? Electric cell or a battery. Electricity is also generated by the electric generators also, right? So basically, by the electric generators, by the electric cell or the battery, electricity is produced, and electricity is simply the flow of charged particles. It's flow. Okay, na? Flow of charged particles. Now electricity cannot travel through all the objects. Like suppose
Yes,
in
sir.
our
Plastic.
exactly through plastics it cannot flow now, but through a metal
Yes, sir.
wire like made up of copper or iron or aluminum, it flows very easily through it now, right?
Yes, sir.
That's why suppose if you take a cell, electric cell, and you take a piece of bulb, right? So in order to glow this bulb, I need some wires, no? Right? And
Yes, sir.
I need to take the wires that are made up of copper. But suppose if I were to take
Yes, sir.
something made up of wood, I take different pieces of wood and connect it to the wire, connect it to the bulb, I mean to say. Will the bulb glow
It
if
will.
I take a piece of wood?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
So we have to make use of objects that are basically conductors. The conductors are the objects that allows the electricity to pass through them. What are the examples of conductors? Copper, iron,
Human body. Human body.
exactly, human body also, right? Human body. So all these are examples of conductors. In fact, dirty water also is a conductor. The distilled water is not a conductor of electricity. It does not allow electricity to pass through it. But if there is some amount of dirt, some amount of impurity in water, then it's a conductor of electricity, right? Electricity has so
Yes,
many
sir.
application in our daily life. We use it to uh, uh, run different electrical appliances in our day-to-day life, right? Whether it be a small
Yes, sir.
electrical appliance or whether it be a big electrical appliance like a refrigerator. Okay, that's the thing.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, one time, our teacher made a, like exhibition. One
Mm-hmm.
time we do experiment, same like that, but the cell become hot.
The cell became hot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it happens like when excessive amount of electricity is being drawn up. meaning that if the cell is being used continuously for a long period of time and we are using it to operate electrical appliances, that is drawing so much of current from it, that is taking up so much of current from it, then it will become very hot. Getting what I'm trying to say? Okay, that is one of the reason for it. Then you must have learned about the food, the components of the food right now.
Yes, sir.
We know that we humans are heterotrophs. What are we humans?
Heterotroph.
What does heterotroph mean?
Sir, a, a animal, sir, a object who depends on food.
Organisms who depends upon other organisms for their nutrition, for their food, right now.
Food.
So heterotrophs are organisms that cannot prepare their own food, right? That's, for example, let's say
Yes,
we
sir.
have a sheep, a goat, a human. What makes them common is that, like, all of them are in a way dependent upon plants, particularly the humans. They are dependent upon, other than plants, they also depend upon the flesh of other animals also, right? So because they are heterotrophic in nature, unlike the plants who are which are autotrophs, like plants can prepare their own food via photosynthesis now. Hence we call them as autotrophs, right? Autotrophs, getting it? So they,
Yes,
in the
sir.
process of photosynthesis, can prepare the food for themselves, and they are preparing food for all other living organisms also present on Earth. But as for the heterotrophs, can we perform photosynthesis? Can we utilize the sun's energy, and can we take carbon dioxide and water and we make our own food? Can we do it inside our body? Obviously, no. Right, Abhiraj?
Yes, sir.
So hence we need to depend upon the plant or animals for our food. So hence we are heterotrophic. Now the question, like, why do we need food? Uh-huh.
Sir, to prevent energy.
To prevent energy or to get energy?
Sir, to get energy.
To get energy, right? Now the food that we are consuming, it is first digested in our body, right? And then
Yes.
digested food goes to different parts of the body. The digested food is absorbed by your blood, and your blood transports it to different part of your body where that food is used to obtain energy. Getting it?
Yes, sir.
So food question, like, why it's needed. So one of the thing you told me, that it is to obtain energy, right? To obtain energy to carry out different functions. So energy will be required to carry out different functions like digestion, excretion, to carry out different physical activities, right? Walking, running, lifting, to do different activities we need energy. Another reason is for growth and repair. For the growth and repair of the body, energy is needed, right? That's the thing.
Yes, sir.
Now the food that we consume, right, it contains different components in it that we call as nutrients, right? Now that we call as nutrients.
Nutrients.
Now the nutrients are the components found in the food that are essential for the nourishment of the body, for the development of the body. Like, the nutrients would be containing, like, they are nutrients are basically carbohydrates and fats, vitamins, minerals, right? Other than that, there is roughage in the food also, no? Roughage and water. So all of these are the
Yes,
different
sir.
components present in our food, and all of them have got different functions to perform. Like carbohydrate and fat, they are energy giving food, right? Now
Yes, sir.
they gives energy. Vitamins, they help prevent us from different diseases. Minerals also helps us prevent from different diseases. They together improve, builds the immune system of the body. Roughage, we get it from the plant based food, no? right? Roughage, we get it by eating plant-based foods. It adds bulkiness to the food. It helps in digestion. And water also, obviously, we know that it moistens the food and helps in digestion. So all these are the different nutrients present in our food, and they have got different functions to perform, right? Like for example, vitamin C, right? So we know that
Yes,
vitamin
sir.
C is good for body. No, vitamin C is good for body. What the vitamin C does, it improves your health, like it will be particularly helping in development and the repair of the tissues, right? It acts as an antioxidant, it protects your cells from the damage. Getting it now? It also helps in absorption of iron from the plant-based food. Then we have got different minerals that is required by the body, right? Minerals required by the body like calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, they are required in larger quantities by our body, right? Our body actually needs it. You might see different objects around you, like made up of zinc, made up of iron. Suppose this is a piece of pen in my hand. Let's say it is made up of iron. Okay, you may say that our body does not need it. Our body does not need iron, but actually a
Yes,
small
sir.
amount of iron is needed by our body. Similar to that, calcium, phosphorus, some other minerals are needed by our body for the better development of the for strong teeth and bones. Calcium and phosphorus is very much needed. Getting it now? So that's the
Yes,
thing.
sir.
Okay. Then in other chapters also, like you would have learned about some other things also, right? Like sorting materials into groups in your previous class. Sorting materials into groups. What did you learn in this chapter? And why do we even need to sort the materials into groups? Yes. Why do we need to
Sir,
sort them? Uh-huh.
to get remember easily.
Yeah, so that we can find them easily, right? We can find them
Yes,
easily in
sir.
times of need, right? It will save our time. We can separate them and study them individually, study their properties carefully, right? To sort them
Yes, sir.
properly. That is why it is done. And the sorting of the different material is done upon different criterias, no? Right? Criterias, like they are done based on the property of their appearance, like some of the objects are shinier, some of them are dull, right? Some of them are soluble in water, some of them are not soluble in water, some of them would allow 100% of light to pass through them, like you have got transparent materials, then you have translucent, then you have opaque objects like this, isn't it? Those things you
Yes,
would have
sir.
learned in this chapter. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so that is the thing. I'll be asking some general questions to you. First question to you is that explain to me what do you understand by science. Question number one to you is what is science? Yes, Abhiraj.
So science is a subject that we can learn about experiments,
Okay, in this we learn about experiments and
technology,
okay, technologies. We also
and
learn
history
from
and art.
observation. Uh-huh.
Sir, about history also.
Hmm. Okay, but not particularly about history, but basically it's a way of understanding the world around us. Right? Science
Yes,
is
sir.
a way of understanding the world around us by asking questions, by absorbing and finding the answers through experiments. Like some of the answers we cannot get just by asking. Right now, we can get it by
Yes,
doing
sir.
some experiments. It's a study of the natural world through observation, through experimentation and questioning. Should define it as the it's the study of the natural world through questioning, like if something is happening, why it is happening, right? If something is happening, why it is happening, how it is happening, right? So that is what we ask here. So through questioning, through experimentation, and of course through observation. Of course, through the observation. Okay, so it helps us understand how things work around us. What does it do? Helps us understand how things work around us. Kind of work around us. These are the things. All right. Like some of the examples of science in daily life, like you can see like why food gets spoiled by the microorganisms. Right now, like if you leave the food open in your room for some time, for 2 to 3 days, it
Yes,
is
sir.
obviously going to get spoiled, right? So question is
Yes,
like,
sir.
how did it got spoiled? So we got to learn that it gets spoiled by the action of microorganisms. Then we have some real life examples of science in daily life, like how plants make their food. So the answer is
Photosynthesis.
why objects fall to the ground, why
Because of
objects,
gravity.
because of gravity, how fans cool a room,
Because of temperature Celsius.
temperature, they would be creating air and air would be giving a cooling effect, right? Then further, this
Yes, sir.
science has been further categorized into different branches like physics, chemistry, biology, right? In physics, we study about matter, about motion, etc. In chemistry, we study about the different type of substances. How do they do different reactions? In biology, we study about living things. Getting it now? So that's the thing. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now you give some of the key differences between the living and non-living things. Tell me,
Sir,
what are the key differences? Yeah,
sir, how much points?
at least 3 to 4 points.
Okay, sir. Sir, living organisms can drink water. Sir, living organisms can. Sir, living organisms have a lifespan
Living organisms have a
and not.
lifespan. Okay.
Yes, sir. And non-living organisms do not have a lifespan.
Hmm.
Living organism can breathe,
Hmm.
and non-living organism cannot breathe.
Okay.
Living organism, so the living organisms can speak, and non-living organisms cannot speak.
Okay. Let's take some particular examples, particular categories. Okay. Na, which are generally studied which are generally listed as differences between them. Okay. Na, the basic
Yes, sir.
major topics, major differences. Living organisms can reproduce now. They can give
Yes, sir.
birth to their own kinds, right? And
Yes, sir.
they can
Sir,
grow also. Continue.
sir, no, sir.
They will grow, right? They can grow and they can move also. Getting it?
Yes,
Then
sir.
what else? There are a few more points that you can add here.
Yes, sir.
Like living organisms, they need food, right? They need
Yes, sir.
nutrition. So these are the things that differentiates living from non-living things. So, okay, okay. now you are going to define these things to me. Like, what is evaporation? What is condensation? What is evaporation? What is condensation? Then what is freezing? Okay, try to explain this. After that, after your explanation, I will be answering it. Okay.
Sir, the process, the process by which the water get heated and get formed get
Hmm.
formed by formed by a water vapor is called evaporation.
Okay, the process by which liquid water converts into water vapor, that's called as evaporation.
Ye- Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Can evaporation occur at any temperature? Can it occur at room temperature?
So can you repeat?
Can evaporation take place at room temperature? Right now, the temperature of your room, suppose it's 25 degrees Celsius. So can it happen at that temperature?
No, sir. It can happen in 100 temperature Celsius.
No, 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 no. See, that's the thing. Evaporation can occur even at a normal room temperature. Okay, now
Yes,
evaporation
sir.
can occur at even 10 degrees Celsius, even 20, even 30, even 40. But what makes now what makes evaporation different from boiling is that at at the temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, vaporization is very fast. Boiling is very, very fast. The main difference in boiling is the main difference between evaporation and boiling is the rate of vaporization. Evaporation is a slow
Yes,
process,
sir.
right? But boiling is a faster process. In both of them, the water is converting into the water vapor. Look here. You have taken a bowl of water, okay, and you have kept it at the room temperature. You can actually do this experiment at home. It's a simple activity. Just take some amount of water in a bowl, mark the level, like say that this is the level of the water in this, okay? It is filled up to this
Yes,
level.
sir.
You leave it in your room open for 3 to 4 days. Just leave it open for 3 to 4 days. Do not cover it with something, okay? Now
Yes,
observe the
sir.
level of the water after 3 to 4 days. You will observe that it would have reduced to this much, right? So actually here also water is slowly converting. It is slowly converting into water vapor, into the gaseous state. But in the case of boiling, what is happening here? In boiling, the rate of evaporation is very, very fast. You would see that if I have taken the same amount of water and I am heating it to 100 degrees Celsius. So if I do not turn off the nozzle of the burner, if I do not turn off the burner and I keep it boiling, so it will be observed that after few minutes, now, like let's say after 20 to 30 minutes, suppose you have taken 500 milliliter of water and you keep boiling it for 20 to 30 minutes. After 5 minutes, after 20 to 30 minutes, I mean to say, there might be no water left in the given container. Getting it, Abhiraj?
Yes, sir.
Right? But in the case of evaporation, it was evaporating at a very slow rate. Right now, it was converting into water vapor at a very slow rate. But in boiling, the rate of evaporation is very fast. It's converting into the gaseous state, into the water vapor basically, at a faster speed. Hope that clears it to you. Hope it's clear.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, good. What is condensation?
Sir, the water is boiling.
Repeat again.
So the water is boiling.
Okay, water is boiled here. No, no.
Yes, sir.
Have you noticed this thing that if you are boiling water in a given container, right? You're boiling water in this container, and you might have observed this thing like while your mom would be cooking food in the kitchen, like if something is being boiled, or something, some food is being prepared in which water has been added, and if we place a plate over it, if it has been covered by a lid, by a plate, suppose. So beneath the, like on the, beneath the, like on the lower surface of the plate, you can observe some water droplets. Have you?
Yes,
Some
sir.
tiny water droplets, right? So what has happened here? Let us understand. In order to understand this activity further, like in a, if we have to understand this condensation in a short span of time, we can even place some ice cubes on top of the plate. Okay, now on top of the plate you can put some ice cubes. What is happening, as we were heating it now, as we were heating it, the water was converting into water vapor, right or no?
Yes, sir.
The water is converting into water vapor now. All right, water vapor is basically water in the gaseous state, water in the form of gas. Now, as this water vapor came into the surface of a cold surface above the plate, let's say, suppose, in order to decrease down the temperature, you have placed some ice cubes. So plate's temperature is lower, right now it has a low temperature, it is cool. So as the water vapor comes in contact with the cooler surface, right, it gets a cooler environment, it converts back into water droplet. That is, it converts back into liquid water droplets. So condensation is the process where water from the gaseous states converts back into the liquid state. Getting this thing or not?
Getting, sir.
Okay. So do we observe this condensation happening in the nature? Huh? Think of some examples.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you quote some examples? Quote some examples of condensation in nature. Hmm. Yes. Isn't rainfall an
No.
example of this? The hot water vapor rises from the water bodies, from the vegetations, from the seas. It goes up in the air, and in the air, it converts back into the liquid water vapor. I mean to say, in the liquid water droplets. And then when so much of liquid water droplets accumulates, it converts into clouds. And when the cloud becomes heavier, it comes back to the earth, like water comes back to the earth in the form of cloud, in the form of rain, I mean to say. Also in the winter season, right now you might have seen that water would be water vapor would be basically condensing on the surface of the windows, glass screens, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So those are some of the examples of condensation from daily life. Hope that much is clear to you. Okay. All right. Now in the sixth grade, you would have learned about some other things also. All right. Like you also would have learned about measurement also, right? About motion and the about measurement also you must have learned, right? So can you tell me about the use of some of the simpler tools, like what is the use of a thermometer? Yes.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, the we can find temperature.
You can find the measurement of temperature of a given body by the use of thermometer. Okay, that's quite simple question. Okay, answer the question, where do the plants get the energy to carry out photosynthesis?
Sir, by sunlight and
Hmm.
sir, by sunlight.
From the sunlight. Okay. Other than carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight, what essential thing is required for photosynthesis? Other than sunlight,
Carbon.
what? Listen again. Other than sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, there's one more thing that is necessary for photosynthesis to take place.
Environment.
It's basically a green pigment. It's a pigment. It's a pigment. Mhm.
Yes, sir.
It's a pigment called as chlorophyll. Okay, now. So chlorophyll is also needed for photosynthesis to take place. Without it, it cannot happen. Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
So that is the thing. Further, you tell me, like, can you tell me any two things we learn about through science? Name any two things we learn about through science.
Sir, 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 what magnet?
Hmm. Okay.
Sir, sir, about heat.
Okay, or particularly you can say like how plants make their food, how why objects fall to the ground.
Yes.
That we get to learn through science. No? Okay. Why do scientists do experiment?
Sir, to find,
Hmm. To find what?
sir, to get information about the object is,
Hmm. Find
uh,
answers to the questions about how things work.
yes.
Okay, and
Yes, sir. How
hmm,
it's poisonous or non-poisonous.
okay, you can quote that also, right? Also to test their ideas. Like if they have an idea and they should actually test their idea and they can do so by some experiments only. Also, in order to observe the changes and or in order to collect evidences to understand the natural events that occurs around us. Okay, now that's the thing.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. You must have had learned about water cycle also, right?
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, I think so. I learned.
Okay, okay. So what is water cycle? Can you explain that in simple words?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So the process by which the water get heated and it forms water vapor and it's stored at clouds, and
Hmm.
after that in raining seasons, uh, the cloud take out the water and put it in ground, and the after some days the water will go into the sea.
Okay,
This
okay.
is called water cycle.
What are the major steps involved in water cycle? What are the different steps involved in it? Yes. Like first of all, evaporation takes place from the water bodies right now. First of all,
Yes, sir.
evaporation takes place from the water bodies, from the vegetation, and after the evaporation, what happens? Condensation takes place right now, and after condensation, thereby basically precipitation happens. Now, precipitation is basically the another term given collect. It's a term given collectively to rainfall, hailstones, or snowfall. Okay, now snowfall. We collectively call that as precipitation. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so evaporation and condensation are the major steps involved here. Okay, how is water cycle important for the nature? What is the role of water cycle?
So I don't know the question answer.
Question basically means like how it is important. Like water cycle, which is happening in the nature, in what manner it is important for us. Like suppose if it stops, will our life be affected by it? Will the earth's temperature, will the different life on earth affected by it? Like it is because of the water that we are able to get the it is because of the water cycle that we are able to get the fresh water right now.
Yes, sir.
And water is needed for the growth of the plants and for animal life also it is important, right? Then water cycle
Yes, sir.
also helps to lower down the temperature of the globe, lower down the temperature of the earth, right? So
Yes,
water
sir.
cycle is important as it first of all recharges the water bodies. When rainfall happens, so then rivers, lakes, ponds, wells, right? They get recharged, right? Now they
Yes, sir.
also influence the weather also. The weather is cooled down, right? They support the growth of the plants and different animals. We all depend upon water. So that is the importance of water cycle for us. Okay. So that is the thing. Now you tell me, we have this thing called as like rusting of iron, right? Rusting of iron. What is it and how can we prevent it? Hmm?
What's meaning of rusting?
What is rusting of iron?
So what's meaning of rusting?
Rusting. Okay. You might have observed that if you have a iron nail, suppose, and if you leave it in the open air, particularly if that is left in the moist environment, if it is left open in the moist environment, so thereby after some time there will be brownish thing developing over it like this. When we purchase a metallic object, particularly an object made up of iron, when we purchase it new, then it is having
Yes,
a
sir.
shinier appearance. But is as it becomes old, thereby there can be a deposition of a red brownish structure over it. Red brownish substance develops above it. So that is called as rusting of iron. What is happening here? The iron, it reacts with the water around it. What happens? It reacts with the water and the oxygen
Around.
around it, and thereby it develops a layer of rust over it that we call as iron oxide, commonly called as rust. Got it now? So if an object made up
Yes,
of
sir.
iron is left in the open air, particularly if it is left in the moist environment, then it will react with the water and oxygen, and hence a layer of rust develops above it. A layer of rust develops it. Now, this formation of rust above the iron will weaken it, right? Now, it makes it weaker, and eventually that object may start to break. Now, the question like, how can we prevent it? You'd have noticed this thing. Like, tell me, the gate of your house must be made up of iron, right?
Yes, sir.
Do we apply a paint over it or not? Do you paint it?
Yes, sir.
Right now, we must paint it. So why painting it? We are avoiding the contact of iron with the moist conditions with water. Because if water is poured over that iron gate, it will eventually develop rust over it and will become weaker and will start to degrade. Getting it now? That's the thing.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Okay, another key concept here is wind. Okay, now, is wind. Tell me what you understand by wind. Okay, and how does it impacts the weather? Getting the question?
Yes, sir.
So what is wind and how it impacts like influences impacts weather? Yes. Yes, Abhiraj.
Sir.
Basically, blowing air is called wind now,
Yes, sir.
right? Blowing air is commonly referred to as wind, right? And wind is basically the movement of air from one place to another, and that is due to the difference in the air pressure. Okay, that's the thing. And wind influences the weather of a place, right? It influences the pattern of a given place. Like wind carries heat and moisture with it. Right now, as wind will be blowing from one place to another, so it will be carrying heat with it. It carries moisture with it. So thereby, it will impact the weather condition of a particular place. Okay, now in the sixth grade, you must have had learned about important concepts like filtration. You have no right. about filtration, about decantation, about decantation, and also about evaporation. Okay, and also hand picking also. So what are all these methods used for? What are all these done for? Why do we do so? Filtration, decantation, evaporation, and hand picking. What are they done for? They're basically done for separation of substances, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right now. So in the chapter separation of substances, you would have learned about filtration, evaporation, decantation, and hand picking. But the question is like, why is there a need of separation? Yeah. Why is there a
Yes,
need?
sir.
Answer that question.
Separation.
Yeah.
So
Why do
remove
we?
the green.
Yeah. Remove the unwanted or harmful substances.
Yes, sir.
Like we remove stone from rice or dal.
Yes, sir. And we wash the rice
Exactly.
and remove the stone.
And what else? We can obtain useful components also. We get butter from milk, right? We get
Yes, sir.
butter from milk is taken up. Okay. So tell
Churning,
me,
sir.
mhm, churning exactly.
So,
So butter which we get from milk, we get it via filtration, via decantation, evaporation, hand picking, via centrifugation. There's one more thing, or let's say it's simply churning. So that is via churning right now.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
Hmm. And we also do separation of substances to remove the impurities also. Suppose if you have to remove sand from the drinking water, which of the method are you going to use? Which one of them is more suitable? Yeah. If you have to remove
Moving,
sand
sir.
from drinking water, sand is mixed in water and we need to remove the sand. Which of the method should I pick here? Filtration, decantation, hand picking, churning, or evaporation?
So decantation.
Decantation. Okay.
Yes, sir.
But there's a even better one, better option available to us. We can make use of filter paper. Remember, you can use a filter
Yes,
paper and
sir.
pass the water through it. Sand will be left in the in the filter paper, and on the glass beaker you will be able to collect the water, right? So the filter paper would be collecting the sand particles as water will pass through the it, but the sand particles will be left behind. Okay. Tell me, how do we get salt from the seawater? How do we get salt from the seawater? Via which process we get it? Yes.
So,
Hmm. Via evaporation, no? Seawater is
yes, sir.
collected and basically it is allowed in the sunlight to evaporate and salt is left. Okay, so that is the thing. Now, tell me, what are the components of air? What are the different components of the air? Tell me. Yes. Like, what are the gases present in the air? As you know, air is a
So,
mixture of different gases. Oxygen, how much?
oxygen is at 21%,
That's
nitrogen,
good. Hmm.
75%,
No, 78%. We're gonna at 78%.
78%.
Hmm.
Yes.
Carbon
Sir,
dioxide? Hmm.
1%.
No, no, not 1%, 0.04%. Okay, 0.04%.
Yes, sir.
Then 1% is other gases. 1% is other gases. All right now. Okay, other
Yes,
than that,
sir.
we have some little amount of gases like helium, methane, and ozone is also present. What is the importance of ozone? What does ozone do? Ozone is also a gas present in the ozone layer, remember? You know, so ozone present in the stratosphere. It is found in the